23 ABC News Midday starts now.
Good morning and thanks for watching 23 ABC News at 11 a.m. I'm AmandaLynnMason. Our top story this afternoon, the wildfires devastating California. A man accused of going on a shooting rampage and killing 5 people in Louisiana is now in custody. We start this evening with breaking news out of East Bakersfield. A deputy suffering injuries following a crash. 3 people are dead and several others injured after a fight at a bowling alley escalated to gunfire. A deadly tsunami smashed onto the beaches of Indonesia, following a crash that involved 11 people on the Grapevine this morning. This was the scene around 7:30 a.m. And we're learning new details about a water main break that has residents in Northwest Bakersfield under a boil notice watch this weekend. We'll get ready for a cuteness overload. Some people have show cats, some people have show dogs, but what about show goats? Batman has never given his gadgets to Gotham police, but it looks like officers in Florida have gotten their hands on some. It's called the Bola Wrap, and officers in Florida took turns giving it a shot. Now Beyonce and Jay-Z are going from breaking records in music to helping to break records at famous destinations. Big changes are coming to Hart Park in the coming years. The Kern County Parks and Recreation Commission held a meeting to discuss the detail and future plans. 23 ABC's Vanessa Romo has a look at the timeline for these changes. This one is for the guys. Have you ever had a question about your health, but you're too stubborn to ask? Well, Dignity Health is hosting a special event tonight aimed to encourage you to get that tough conversation started.
Live from downtown Bakersfield, 23 ABC News at 6 starts now.
Good evening and thanks for joining us at 23 ABC News at 6. I'm AmandaLynnMason. The state of California hit with strong winds, heavy rains and snow over the weekend. Roads turning into raging rivers, numerous water rescues carry out, and residents in areas affected by last year's fires are worried about mudslides. ABC's Marcus Moore has the latest.
A large storm pummeling much of California Saturday.
2 people are dead and 2 others in the hospital following this fiery plane crash outside of Anaheim. Authorities say a small plane crashed into a neighborhood, which ignited 2 homes into a fiery blaze. Still no word on why the small plane crashed. And in other news, authorities are investigating a shooting outside of a bar following a fight in Chicago. Officials say 6 people were shot overnight, 2 people are dead and 4 others were wounded. A fight inside Reynolds Lounge reportedly spilled outside where someone shot into a group from inside a car. It's unclear if the people shot were intended targets or if they were involved in the fight. And a partial power outage in New York Federal Detention Center continues, but it will not be finished until Monday. Many inmates are still sitting in cold and dark cells because of the outage, which started on Thursday. Protesters gathering outside the prison saying the inmates and employees are being treated poorly. Inmates are on lockdown, living in the dark. New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio saying on Twitter that the city is sending hundreds of blankets and that generators will be made available. And new this evening, the Kern County Sheriff's Office is investigating a robbery that happened in East Bakersfield late last night. This is surveillance video of the incident. According to the timestamp of the video, it happened just after 10 o'clock last night at Poker's Pizza on Morning Drive. An employee was in the back when the register was taken from the restaurant. KCSO says the suspect drove off in a white Chevy pickup. If you have any information on the suspect's whereabouts, you're asked to call KCSO at 861-31110. And a woman is recovering in the hospital after being hit by a vehicle in South Bakersfield last night. It happened on South Union Avenue near East Terrace Way just after 9 p.m. Bakersfield police said the woman was riding a bicycle in the southbound lane of South Union when the car hit her and drove westbound on East Terrace Way. The victim was taken to the hospital with moderate to major injuries. BPD says the injuries do not appear to be life-threatening, and the suspect car is described as a gold 4-door. If you have any information, you are encouraged to call BPD at 327-7111. And while you enjoy the big game today, a reminder from the Bakersfield Police Department: officials are encouraging all football fans to celebrate responsibly by not driving impaired and making proper choices when it comes to letting people get behind the wheel. In an effort to flag those who choose to drive impaired, BPD will increase patrols today, adding additional officers to look for drivers suspected of driving under the influence of alcohol and drugs. BPD will also be conducting a DUI saturation patrol tonight between 7 p.m. and 1 a.m. Now, employees of Kern Radiology are facing layoffs following the sale of the business. The city sent out a warning letter Friday regarding the layoffs. According to the letter, 173 employees are facing potential layoffs following the sale of Kern Radiology. Officials say the business is facing a total reduction, meaning employees at all 5 of their locations could be without a job here in Bakersfield and Tehachapi. The layoffs are expected to begin on April 1st. Kern Radiology is being purchased by RadNet Management, and officials say the company has retained the right to hire the company's employees. However, RadNet says they are making no guarantees. And looking ahead to this week, Cal State Bakersfield is gearing up to hold a couple events in celebration of Black History Month. CUSB will be hosting its annual Unity Breakfast at the Student Housing East this Friday at 7 a.m. Later that day, CSUB is scheduled to host its annual Gospel Fest in the Iacardo Center at 6 p.m. People will be treated to choirs, dance groups, and soloists from the spiritual community. And the Russian National Ballet gracing the stage of the Fox today for a production of Swan Lake. That's just a taste of the 3-act ballet featuring music by Tchaikovsky. The show, which is about a young prince who tries to free a swan maiden from an evil spell, began at 1 this afternoon, and the Russian National Ballet was actually founded in Moscow in the late 1980s, then began gracing stages in North America in 1999. And coming up next, today is a big day to indulge in some snacks, how you can add a tasty spin with a new Simply Sweet recipe.